to PAX East and the live stage here at Twitch. I'm Anna Prosser-Robinson, thrilled to be back here with you, joined of course by Pancake Pal, who's been up here on the stage for us today. And we have Outlast 2 for you to talk about. We're joined by Philip and JT. They're here to show us a little bit about this game. You just saw a trailer. Guys, we know Outlast 1. Tell us a little bit about where the characters have been there and where we are taking them now.
Okay. Well, the sequel is a brand new setting. You're meeting new characters, but it's still related in the same universe. So we're going to have a comic book that's going to bridge a gap between the two games.
Ooh, cool.
But you're starting with this guy who's a cameraman, and he's investigating the murder of a Jane Doe, and they're trying to find where these people came from. And they take a chopper and they go investigate the canyons of Arizona, and the chopper crashes.
Wow.
And the guy wakes up and he's by this village, secluded village, full of people who believe the end of times are coming.
Whoa.
That's the starting point.
I have lived in Arizona, and I have been in some remote locations, and I feel like that could be really terrifying.
Absolutely.
And Paula, you said you played Outlast 1.
Yes, I have a fear of just horror games, so Outlast was like kind of my first one that I was able to kind of overcome, so thank you. And now I'm really excited to see what Outlast 2, because it created such a fan base and your community is so strong.
Yeah.
And they love it. So what has been sort of the reactions when you guys like announced that you were doing this?
I mean, people are really jazzed. I'm always amazed. Like our making the first game, we were just trying to make it as horrible as possible. and even now, you know, there's people waiting 3 hours to play the new game because they want to suffer so badly, which is totally confusing. But hey, it works.
People like seeing people stream and seeing the fear and overcoming the fear. I think that's like the best part of horror games, and that's why I wanted to overcome. So thank you for helping me overcome my fear. Now I have to get another diaper change to do this Outlast 2, but I'm really excited to see what you guys, so tell us about...
us watching people playing the game is kind of great too. Like it lets us see what works and what people like and what people are reacting to.
So what are we like looking at now?
The character just walked in the village. So he's trying to find his wife, and he doesn't know yet what the people who are living there, what's happening, and obviously something went wrong. It's not like it's a peaceful place, so he's just like knocking on doors and trying to find somebody to help him out.
And this is in-game footage, correct?
Yes.
And so we're looking at a very clean user interface, and I know that in the past you very limited what the character can do. So what can we do in this game, and what can't we do?
It's still all about immersion. So mechanics are only there to create an emotion, create a sense of being in that environment, make it feel real. So
wow,
it's not what I would call a gameplay-centric game. It's more like an experience.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. And that experience, you said, is horrible. You want to show these people just abject terror. So I'm curious to know, as someone who has worked in this genre so much, you know, what is the science of enjoying terror? Like how when you're making this game are you like, this is terrifying and it hurts and I hate it, but that's good? You know, where do you find that balance?
It's like a crazy interesting question that like applies to so much horror, and it's so hard to dial down on. I mean, like my favorite book about it, there's a book called Men, Women, and Chainsaws that's about sort of gender, sadism, and masochism and the experience of watching a movie. That's amazing. For this especially, like it is the way that Phil and the level designers treat the actual creation of the fear does feel very scientific, and a lot of it is about like pulling back and holding back and withdrawing and like letting the tension build. But why people want to do it? I mean, I think fear is necessary for us, right? Like it's something that we need to experience.
Makes you feel alive.
Yes, yes, sweating, pulsating. Yeah, I love it.
And I know this character, we're seeing his view through a camcorder right now. So this is him filming what he's experiencing, right?
At the same time, yes.
Yes.
So you know, he's looking through the village, he's trying to find out what happened. Are there any other pieces of the plot you can tell us to set the scene?
I mean, the other thing that we know is that this Jane Doe who was murdered, she was found wandering on the side of a road about 8 months pregnant and barefoot. You know, she's obviously from some backwoods place, and they've taken her to a hospital. And she, by the official record, strangled herself to death in the hospital. So are...
That seems very difficult to do.
Yeah, a little dubious.
Yeah.
It's getting more like evil, and I like it.
Yes, yes. And so our main character, Blake, and his wife are investigative journalists who haven't bought that story, and now they're trying to find out what happened.
Gotcha. And he becomes separated from his wife. You're saying she's looking for her. That's terrifying. I like to be buddies when I'm walking through a creepy wood with with crosses. I would rather have my husband there.
See, that would be comfortable and pleasurable.
Right.
And that's not that would be fun.
Yeah.
That's not us.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the comic book you mentioned that's going to bridge the two.
Yeah, have you ever announced that before?
I'm doing it right now.
Twitch exclusive.
Yeah, I've written a bunch of issues of the comic that we're now having the pictures drawn and made pretty.
Cool.
And it's going to serve as a way to kind of, because there is like, there's our pirate dead babies.
Oh,
who's keeping it classy.
Goodness.
But I mean, so it is a very sort of basic presentation when you're inside of the game, right? Like there's a lot of dialogue and stuff, but it's not that narrative unless you're actually reading all the emails and stuff. And with the comic, we sort of wanted to show how the narrative from the first one is going to lead to this one and what's going on in the world about.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
fun.
One of my favorite things that I loved about the first one was the sound and the music. I feel like that is the pinnacle of what can make or break a game, and I've said it multiple times, but especially in horror, because it starts messing with your cerebral, right? You start really kind of feeling it. Have you guys done anything for this one particularly this time around?
Well, the composer is the same as the first game. He's back.
Okay.
The genre of music we're going for is a little bit different. The first one was more like classical music.
Sure.
This time it's more make you feel a little more like maybe True Detective, if you remember this. So very early analog instruments, but
nice
it's still
Americana.
Yeah.
Still trying, to create that feeling of uneasiness.
Yes.
But it's like you mentioned, it's really hard because sound usually comes in at the end, but because it is essential for the experience, it makes you feel like for a long time that it's just not working. The game is not working until the sound is there,
and
but
then
the sound comes at the end. So it's kind of a leap of faith.
But our sound designer,
awesome.
Francis Bruce, is like amazing. Like he does great stuff, and he's been spending a lot of time like in old barns with binaural microphones, kind of creeping
Imagine that's your job. You have to research and you have to go to old bars.
It makes more sense than my job.
Yeah, right?
Like recently, it was like, okay, we should have more bone crunching.
That's awesome.
I was wondering, I know sound designers use a lot of really creative things to create those sounds. Do you happen to know of any kind of funny anecdotes or crazy things that he's done and created?
I know he sometimes he leaves for a few days and goes to a chalet in the woods to record his stuff. I have no idea what happens there, but he comes back with sound.
Wow.
Chalet sounds fancy in French. He means shack.
A shack in the woods to record sound.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds good. Well, here at Twitch, we're particularly interested in watching people play video games. And as Paolo mentioned, this is something that it's really fun to watch someone also be scared. What do you think about the streaming experience? What do you think streamers might enjoy about this game?
It's something that, when we started working on the first game, we didn't know much about this whole thing going on. And we just went along with it, and it's been amazing. So many people know about Outlast even if they've never played it. So it's really awesome for brand recognition.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someday there will be an actual movie.
Yeah. That would be fun. Who knows, he says, after a Twitch exclusive. So, I mean, as an investigative journalist, now that I'm in Outlast, maybe we can sniff something out there, Paolo.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a horror movie. We can never get enough. So this is. I just like that there's a more generalized concentration in horror games, and I feel like, have you guys considered this in a VR setting?
We're always looking at it. It's just a matter of time. We're a small team. We're 18 people, so we couldn't work on 2 projects at the same time.
Of course.
So for now, we're focusing on Outlast 2, but once it's out, we're a lot of people asking for an Outlast VR experience. So I'm sure at some point it's going to come.
Sorry, we're just dropping all these maybe exclusives. So
I saw the battery run out on the camcorder, and now I see pitch black. Is that something that happens to us if we run out of batteries? We can't see anymore?
Well, currently it's because you're hiding in a barrel.
Oh,
so
okay.
You put down the camera to keep the batteries, but there's a little holes in the barrel, so you can see flashlights of the villagers from time to time.
So creepy.
Cool.
I think pretty soon he's gonna just sneak out of the barrel just to take a look.
Yeah.
If people are still around.
Did you guys mess with any of like the mechanics of how fast you're able to respond to things? And because I know in the first one it was, you guys probably were so surprised how fast people just like were drawn to it. Did you guys take a lot of community notes on like what you want to change?
Yeah, we read pretty much everything.
Wow. Okay.
And then we're really trying to fix or enhance all the stuff that was in the first game. I mean, the AI has been rewritten from scratch.
Wow.
And it's a lot more complex than it was in the first game.
I heard somewhere that you compromised our physical integrity in Outlast 1, and that you're going to compromise our mental integrity in Outlast 2.
Wow.
What does that mean?
It means that you're going to go nuts.
Alrighty. Yeah. While you're being live and watching your streamers watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, but it's because we're really trying to mess with the player's mind. What's real, what isn't real, and it's the first one was really visceral horror. Yeah. And we're not going away from that, but we want to add layers of different emotions to the experience.
I feel like our ambition should be that like watching people play the first Outlast, at least for me, is really funny, and I think for most people it is, like because they're reacting to body horror and all that sort of stuff. If with the second one we could make watching people play it scary, like just watch people break.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think that watching people play horror games has been really scary for me. It's like a very vicarious, scary experience because I mean, I'm in the game with them. They're just directing, and I have no control. I have no power over what's happening.
Scarier, I think.
Really?
It's kind of the basic concept of the experience is putting the player in a tough situation, but he's also powerless. He doesn't have. There's not much he can do, and it's kind of a metaphor for life for some people.
Yeah. Would you say you guys had any particular inspirations in creating Outlast or in Outlast 2 aside from your own project, Outlast 1?
We take a lot from movies, different stuff. I think for this sequel there was a lot of Jacob's Ladder, The Shining, Angel Heart, movies like that.
I feel like a little Clive Barker too. You can see.
Yeah, actually, I was reading a lot of Clive Barker.
I love Clive.
Yeah.
Yes,
I read
I'm very happy.
most of his first books, Book of Blood. And,
oh yes.
Hellbound Heart. Like
I'm so happy to see that. That makes me really excited.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find out more about the game? Any dates that we know so far?
Well, we're working hard to get the game done by this fall.
Okay.
And they can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, our own website, redbattlesgames.com.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it, guys. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more live from Twitch at PAX East right after this.